Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the must-see, best-selling racing game of all time. Welcome to Apex Online Racing as well. My name is Sir Murray Walker, aka Mr. Evil Dragon here, back again in the commentary box as per usual. Joining me tonight is not Ethan, because he's on holiday. It is Mr. Maddies, Mr. Cole Fogarty. Say hello, Mr. Fogarty.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
I am very good, thank you. How are you, my good friend?
Very well, thank you.
So now, we are coming on to round number 2, remember, this season here at Laguna, Seca. Now, in terms of the championship, we'll just give you a quick rundown of the championship standings after last week's fantastic race. Jazzman, who took a last lap victory last time out after overtaking Budi, who had the unfortunate of running out of fuel last time out. Papano, P3 in the championship, with Gaza in P4. Archil is in P5, of course. That will be the great man of the Raiko there. Behind them, we have Skuld and Vector in Team RevPad. Behind them, we have Kevin Myers ahead of Jam, Mark, and Coco. Ben McCluster in Snake Unite Racing, of course, down there into our position ahead of Wolf, who had an unfortunate race last time out after being in contact with a few other cars. Thomas in P14. Omitaro in P15, the Spanish driver, hoping to come through after a DNF last time out. 3 drivers did not start, of course, last time, being Camo. Esso, of course, is the reserve, and Fogarty, who is currently preoccupied with commentating. So, Fogarty, season started already. What you watched last week, of course, and how do you see the drivers moving on from that fantastic race last time out at Watkins Glen?
Well, you got that one right. It was a fantastic race, so hope they can pick up from where they left off. It was very exciting in the final few laps, so yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be a really good race tonight. The track's made for a good race, so yeah, really looking forward. It should be interesting.
Indeed, was mend a few little notification issues there, so do hold on a second, because they've turned themselves back on. There we go. So, now, of course, we look back to last week, and of course, we look at Budi. His first race in the Tier 1, finished P2. Fogarty almost could have won that race last week. And the mentality's going through his head. How do you think he's going to move on from that crushing last lap defeat?
Well, as a racer, you've just got to pick yourself up. So I think he'll be fine. He'll bounce back. I don't think he'll have any problems tonight. Let's see how he gets on in quali. See where his actual pace is at. And then, yeah, he should be fine.
Of course, in terms of the constructor standard, the Italian stallions of Jazzman and Budi, of course, lead the constructors by a mile. That is, of course, mainly because they're the only real team of 2. The other team up there, we've got Snake Unite Racing, that is Gaza and Benji, and of course we have Team RevPad with Skuld and Vectro. The only other team is Innovative SRT, so not many teams, so the constructors really are going to be a little bit interesting. I believe we might be getting a new lobby, I potentially believe, so do hold on for that one. But everything going well as I just have a look, see, waiting for an invite. So a small technical issue here, ladies and gentlemen, but don't worry, we'll keep you all very much entertained. So now we look, of course, towards the weather. It's going to be very hot, and Laguna Seca foggy. We've seen it before, a very tricky little circuit. How do you think these drivers are going to cope with this heat?
You've got to be taking it easy the first few laps. No sliding around, getting greasy. It won't help you towards the mid-race, and certainly not towards the end of the race. So yeah, you've really got to look after your tyres them opening laps.
Indeed, the opening couple of laps always going to be difficult. And now, of course, looking down the field, we're going to see the likes of Vector. He's doing a little bit better. I believe we've just got invites to the lobby, so let me just join that. Do hold on for a few moments of the blue screen of light as I rejoin the lobby. And there we go. So talking about Vector and Skull, they've been a lot closer in these last 2 races, and especially after last season, Vector coming off the back of a really big struggle. And do you think he's going to be moving on and definitely trying to attack his teammate a lot more this season?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the guy's got some really good pace, and I expect him to be at least within the top 5 or just outside the top 5 tonight. But yeah, definitely improved from last season, without a doubt. The Audi seems to suit him a lot better than the Acuro did, so yeah, he should be good.
Indeed, just I to get that, and do apologise by the way for the blue screen. That was just whilst we were joining the lobby. Yes, so in terms of the difficulty, turn 1, it's a downhill left-hander, of course. And Foggy, you've driven around this circuit a few times in the past, I believe. So tell us your experiences on the opening couple laps of a race. How does the driver's mentality go through that first critical lap?
Well, you've just got to stay out of trouble if you can. Just let the race take care of itself. That's the best way. Keep out of trouble, and yeah, the race should come to you. Hopefully, that's the way it should work. But it doesn't always work like that, as we know. So yeah, that's about it, really, mate. Just got to take it easy. Very difficult to do though. Once you start. Very difficult.
Yeah, indeed, of course. And first race, of course, we had one DNF. That, of course, was Omintaro, and he'll be hoping for a better race this time. And no disconnections, surprisingly, so far this season. Of course, last season we had a few disconnects for races, so that's always good seeing connection definitely on the rise this season, of course, end of October. So I hope, of course, you're all prepping for a lovely Halloween tomorrow, whenever it's Halloween. I believe it's tomorrow. I don't really support Halloween or follow it, so I can't remember off the top of my head. But well, we'll find out what everyone's going to be doing tomorrow. And let's see if we're going to have any spooky surprises today, though. That is the ultimate question.
Well, the corkscrew will be spooky for a few, that's for sure. That might catch a few out.
Indeed, very much will do.
I'm hoping it doesn't, but
and the
it's a challenging track. You can't take your eye off it for 1 second. Not around Laguna.
Indeed,
you need a steady flow and a steady rhythm round here. And I think the guys should be okay. You just should get through the opening few laps and they'll be flying, these guys. They're all good racers. They know how to race. And yeah, they should be good.
Indeed, very much. And Foggy, you told me some very interesting information about this circuit the other day. That was, what was it? A 5-story drop, the corkscrew, isn't it?
No, it's a 5.5-story drop, actually. Yeah. Well, yeah, basically turn 8, the corkscrew. The elevation dropped down to turn 9, which is only about a 450 metre sprint to turn 9, which is Rainy Curve, and yeah, there's about 120 metre elevation drop there, so it's a scary piece of track, but obviously the gravity will keep you down and keep you pinned, but you can't be taking too much of the apex in any of that section, or else you will be coming unstuck with that for sure. It's happened a few times to me myself, but there you go.
Indeed. And a bit of history about this circuit. The current lap we're currently on first hosted a race in 1996. The original circuit, of course, first hosted a race in 1957, as I see the lobby opening. The famous corkscrew section, of course, has been on every single variation of the circuit. And in terms of difficulty, it's definitely a little more of a tame circuit, but it still remains got that kind of a definite ideology. It's got the old style corners that has been running it since 1988, so it's definitely a newer track than the original. So it's just some interesting facts about some circuits like that you think have been on the calendar and since the 56. They look the same, but they've really changed quite a lot, don't they? Yeah,
they've changed a lot on the circuit, without a doubt, but they've had to do really in the past. Current regulations today, they've got to make the track safer. It has got some obstacles, should we say. There's concrete walls all the way around, that can be a problem, but you just got to keep it on the track.
Well, indeed, we see the lobby good. 15 of the 16 drivers, so I'm trying to figure out who we may be missing. So what's that? You get all the little things up for me, please. Thank you very much for that. So Tinder's in the house, we're looking at there. He's currently in the pit, then in the bright yellow Lamborghini, of course. And we'll be seeing what he can do, of course, as well. So far, he is, I believe, where is he in the championship? I think he is about 8th in the championship, if I'm not too mistaken. Here's Tinner, so hopefully he'll be going up for a little bit of a better couple of racing. I believe that's actually not Tinnis there. He's currently 8th in the standing. That is Tinnis, who I think of someone else there, but never mind. We'll move on from that one. So, who do you think today, Fogarty, are we going to be looking at most?
Current guys, I think tonight is going to be Gaza, definitely. Going to be up there. Jazzman. And the new guy, Tinnis in the house.
Indeed.
I think they're my top 3 predictions for tonight, anyhow. Anyone else, you know, that's probably going to make a breakthrough? Maybe Skull. Skull was pretty quick in his lap times last week as well. Esser's an unknown quantity, but I know Esser from Tier 2. So I'm hoping he has a really good performance tonight. He's a really good racer. Had some cracking battles with him last season. So I'm glad he's in Tier 1, because I think he deserves to be. So, and he's obviously making his debut tonight, so that should be interesting.
Indeed. We'll have a quick onboard one of the drivers in a few moments' time. Well, let's have an onboard actually with Jazzman when he comes around the circuit in a few moments' time. We'll take you on a flying lap with him. If you can jump onto Jazzman, please, and go onto the onboard camera. Let's take you around this beautiful 11-corner circuit. Coming down towards turn number 1, the Andretti hairpin. Tricky little braking zone, chucking in 3rd gear, down to 2nd. 100 kilometers an hour. What's out for the inside here? It's a double apex corner as he built it up to turn number 3. Tricky right-hand corner. That's Wolf, I believe, just as Gaza actually ahead of him. 2nd gear that. Let the car flow out under the Cooper tyre that. Down towards turn number 4. Keep it in 3rd gear. Just let the car flow in gently. Don't want to go too wide. Those curves on the outside will spit you off into the wall. Down to turn number 5. Uphill corner. And this, of course, slightly banked, so the car wants to slide out on the exit. Does that all good as we now come up to turn number 6, down to the Rahal Straight. Blind left-hander. If the car goes off here and you're misheighted, you're going off in a big way. Now into turn number 7 before turn number 8, the corkscrew. And what's out the braking zone here? We've seen some mental accidents down here in the past. The elevation, of course, 5.5 stories. You've now come down to turn number 9. Again, another long, never-ending left-hander before into turn number 10. This quick flick right, just lift off the throttle. No, sometimes you do need a little bit of a brake, of course. What's up for that curb? Don't run too wide. Into turn number 11 as a few cars get out of the way there. And this little rally looks to be presumably around a 1 minute 21.5, if my calculations are correct in my head. Let's see how far off I am, and it's 121.8. So, quickest so far today. I'm going to say Fogarty. Already, Jazzman putting his lap time in.
That was a great opening lap in qualifying.
Indeed, Skull so far in P8 as we can go back to the outboard camera.
Sorry, mate.
So, everyone up front going good, and Jazzman though saying they're going slightly quicker so far on this lap. He is miles quicker than everyone else. Looking at Skull then coming down into the corkscrew, and this course tricking the corner is the rear end steps up, and that there is just a little bit too much throttle getting on that bump. Very difficult to do indeed. You can just see the pad, of course, he's driving, and you can see the hand movement a lot more rough, but just not as smooth, of course, as the wheel users. However, being on a pad, not really disadvantage for Skull, being he is a 2-time AOR winner, both in the wet, of course. Well, definitely the conditions that very much require that difficulty on the control that you'd imagine. But so far, P4 with AOS, he's down to P5 now, 122.4. If we can go to the outboard camera, if you please, Mr. Fogarty, thank you very much. Looking at Gaza through the last corner. Crosses the line. So far, P14. Imagine it's going to go to P2. P1. 1 and a bit Thames quick then to 121.6. Well, now it's all up to Jazzman, as that is the Raiko then. So Archie back again then in his beautiful little car he likes to drive, of course, in the Audi, if I'm not too mistaken. Took pole last time out before spinning off into turn 1. Very unfortunate for him, and he'll be hoping this time to try and take a victory and stop his long-time rivals. And Jazzman, of course, now in P4 is Tinnis, actually, now even P1. So Tinnis then at 121.4. So that's a very impressive lap time for the new guys.
Great lap time, that. They're certainly pushing these guys tonight. Whoa.
They are definitely pushing it. Jazzman up the little left-hander down the rail straight then. And you can just see the cars looking very, a little bit edgy for that corner. Now, while I was driving earlier, running the Bentley, of course, I like driving the Bentley. It's very difficult to that corner. You can see the car getting airborne slightly there. I think that might have been a little lag. But definitely bouncing down the corkscrew. As a car, and as if this is real life, having cars that bounce like that, it's going to be very uncomfortable, hasn't it?
Oh.
So it gets a bit wide. The last corner.
Yeah, that's a few times there.
Very uncomfortable ride, you imagine, in real life around this circuit. Gaz up, P1 so far. So they're already setting laps on. Wolf so far, P3, and he's doing a phenomenal job so far, the Mercedes driver. As, of course, that VSR Wolf now, I will eventually call him Ethan by accident. Sorry there to Ethan, who's currently in the chat. That will be a mistake I have probably done because we got the new VSR driver in. So, Scott into the little left-hander then, and that's it. How the car does a bit wide there, and that is not what you want to be doing. That is what I was mentioning. That corner, very tricky, and I think we're going to see a few cars going wide there today, Fogarty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, but he's off,
dear.
Locked the rears up, and decided back to the pits.
It's a blind apex. It's down to track prep and practice. Yeah, you've really got to nail that apex. But like I say, it's blind. If any of the markers have been taken out, it makes it even more difficult.
Indeed, we got a few cars crossing the line. We got a jab coming through down towards turn number 1, I believe. Actually, that is Vectro, or that is, yeah, the Vectro going past there, and the other Audi then, of course. Vectro, who had a bit of an interesting night last night. Will not go on about what happened, but let's say he's definitely going to be pushing on very heavily today and try and just get his confidence back. Of course, he's been struggling last season, like I mentioned earlier on. And today is definitely a circuit that he's not been looking forward to. He does not get along with Laguna Seca very much. I've seen him drive, of course, in previous games. Definitely a driver that just doesn't seem to get the hook up. And it's just kind of circuit where you can see he runs a bit wide there. Just some drivers just hook it up, and some drivers just cannot hook this circuit up, can't they?
Yeah, it's all about your tyre pressures in quali, so there is a lot of sliding about, but you know, very high track temperatures, sorry, so he's backed out.
And back to the pit then there, so decide to back out of that one. So far, 121.24. Gaz led to this in P2 in the Lamborghini ahead of the other Mercedes of Wolf. Jazzman in the secondary Lamborghini is in 4th position ahead of Boy Racer down in P5. Of course, the driver you had contact with Wolf last week out in, of course, the famous Rocklands Glen. A bit of a spin between those two, and that was the end of those two races. What could have been a very exciting finale with 5 different drivers going for the victory ended up with just being 2 or 3. There was one of the Audis fly past the scene there. So far down the back of the field, we've got ESS down there, and Omatara, that is not having the best luck. He's just over a 10th and a bit behind, but you can see those two of Kevin ESS. Hopefully going to get some good laps on it for a little bit, because they're a little bit off the pace, and hopefully they can jump up the field, Fogarty.
Yeah, hopefully you will. I'm struggling to hear you here, mate. Too much noise.
Indeed. Well, the sounds of many engines.
Hang on a minute.
No, you do that. The sound of many different engines launching over the game, of course, and we're looking here. Jazzman through the last couple of corners. Gaz is still P1 as Jazzman backs off the atom. Has to do that. And what's out because of the Ferrari coming up, and that will all be a concertina effect down there. And of course, I'll get away with that because that corner, of course, you need to carry a little bit of speed in, but of course, it doesn't really compromise slowing down before that a lot more. So, Gaza, Tinus, Wolf, Jazzman, Riker, that is your top 5 so far. Behind them, Boy Racer and Jab. Scold down in P8. Hoping going good. That Vector and P12 is teammate. Between them to Thomas, Mark, and Coco. Then you wasn't here last week. Of course, so good to see Coco back again. But, of course, here we are. Last season's champion. The reigning and defending AOR GT3 PS4 Tier 1 champion Gaza. So far, has had a little bit of a rough start. He finished, P4. Last time I did a different strategy that didn't work. So far, 7,000's up there. A bit more deep into the course. We better get away with that. Down the curbs, that car bouncing away as they come down to the bottom of the circuit. And beautiful search there of the mega car that, of course, won the last 3 championships in a row. sliding out on the rear end, of course, as well for good measure. Gaza, this should be good. It might put him about a 121.17, I believe, of his lap time. He gets the last corner correct. Let's see what he goes at. 121.1 he's looking for. 121. Well, 120.9. So, wow. 4 tenths quicker than Boy Racer now. He's in P2. So, Boy Racer doing good.
That was a committed lap, that, by the way. Wow.
So, flying so far. Boy Racer P2. Good for the new guy as well. Jazzman goes P2 then. Just by 21 thousandths. The Boy Racer cuts the corner a little bit there down. I think that's a bit of lag actually there, unfortunately. But we'll carry on from that one as he takes some a bit of lag there. But let's have a look down the rest of the field. Tinnis in the pit, then ahead of that is Archo and Wolf. And looking down the back of the field, we've got Kevin Camo still trying to set lap times as well as 2.8. And Kai, you can just see flying around the circuit, 5.4 in the tank through the last corner. And let's see if he can improve ever so slightly. 6,000 down, so consistent. Kevin Meyer, there he is, P15 so far, last on the grid bar himself. We're down into turn number 1, and he's going to be looking definitely, hopefully, to try and get himself up positions. All these drivers separated by under 3 seconds. The top 7, 8 cars separated by just under a second. A bit of a gap down to Vettel. That's almost a second there. That's going to be a bit disappointing for Vettel, hasn't it? Being almost a second off his teammate.
Yeah, it's not that. You always want to beat your teammate, so yeah. Oh dear.
Vettel, did he just spin? He did just spin down the exit pit lane.
I think he did. He just had a little bit of a moment coming off the pit lane.
Easy to do, isn't it, though, to be fair? Oh, the rear end definitely not planted there in that Audi, though. The pit lane, I mentioned earlier, I was practicing with Skull. He had a bit of a spin there, and in this pit lane, there isn't not really a lot you can do. If you see a car spinning in front of you, just how the corner lays, and you can't avoid it because the entire car is literally the width of the pit exit, isn't it?
It's very narrow there, yeah. There's not a lot of room. You could quite easily lose it there, pretty easily. Yeah, it's probably got one of the dodgiest pit exits in the game, on any racetrack, really.
Indeed, we're looking at Coco so far. The Ferrari are back again this season. Was racing last season as well, but good to see at least we've kept one of the Ferraris, of course. Not as dominant, not as powerful, and definitely a shell of its former self there, indeed. So far, P12. Not really a car that has been running too well, but I say that the car itself, phenomenal straight line speed. I was just testing around historic Le Mans, and it turns out the Ferrari has the highest top speed. However, the Mercedes gets there fastest and stays there the longest, and that of course is the crucial thing. As well, it's the acceleration more than anything else at the top speed. But Jazzman, P2. Needs to find a 4.5 tenths to go P1 so far. Runs a bit wide there through the penultimate little corner. Then 1 minute to go in qualification. So far, Gaza has all the cards in Mercedes' hands. Yes, man. Across the line, 10th down on his lap time then. By Racer so far, P3. And he'll be hoping to go even quicker as well. The other Mercedes as well. Behind him there, the very much cursed Lamborghini, the black Lamborghini there. I think that might be... Let's see, figure out who that is off the top of my head. I can't remember exactly. But we'll see in a little while who that is. But Boy Racer, definitely going to be trying to go even quicker. Can he get a Mercedes 1-2 in qualifying? That will be ideal for them. Because remember, Mercedes, very slippery little bugger in a straight line. And it'll be interesting to see. Whoever leads down towards turn 1 has a good chance, if they don't spin, remember, of winning this race. It's a very difficult circuit to overtake. Undercuts always are possible, but the real overtaking opportunities, turn 1, possibly down into turn number 5, qualifying, and now over. So whoever finishes their lap time finishes it. Now we're looking through the field, so a lot of drivers are not going to finish their lap time. Vettel's finished his lap time. Let's see, Gaza, where's he coming down towards? He's bowed out, so Tinus, what can he do? So far, P number 2 then, and he's crossed the line, stays P2 for the time being. Jazzman backed out, is that Boy Racer on a lap, as well as Archil there, or Raiko might I say. Riker coming far up the top of the hill, down the little straight rear end there, and he's backed off of his lap time. So it's now all down to Boy Racer then. He's the last man who could possibly win qualifying. And qualifying is one thing, the race is entirely a different thing then. Let's see what can he do then. Up towards the quarter, late on the brakes then, down he comes then as soon as he gets there. He's up by a 10th. This is a good lap as long as he can do it. Should put him P2 on the grid, bounces down the corkscrew. Does it all good as they come down towards the penultimate couple of corners. Into the left, rear end wanting a step out there of the Mercedes-Benz into the penultimate corner. Car struggling, rear end grip. Now through the last corner, can Boy Racer make an upset here and beat many different drivers? Can he beat Tinnis to the front row of the grid, or can he go pole? The answer to that is only P3 in the end.
Wow. Yeah, a cracking opening 2 sectors there.
Indeed. So
he lost it all in the third by the looks of it.
Gaza P1 then on the grid ahead of Tinnis. Boy Racer ahead of Jazzman. Raiko P5 ahead of VSR Wolfman. Skull there in P7 ahead of Jam and Mark. Kevin Myers ahead of Coco and De Thomas with Vectro in 13th, and ESA Racing in 14th, and Kamuk down in 15th. That means, of course, we're missing one driver. That'll be Omataru, who we are missing today, of course. So hopefully everything's okay there. But Jazzman defeated by 2 new rookies, and that's going to be a bit of a surprise to the system.
That is a surprise.
Yeah, it really much is. Let's get all that information back up then. So, Gaza, he'll be wanting to lead down towards tunnel. Remember, of course, formation that rate your 5 seconds, a compulsory 5 seconds to make sure no one jumps to the start. And, oh, please see, we lost someone else, I think, there. Is that potentially? I think we've lost someone, Fogarty, and I'm wondering who we've lost.
Trying to see who we're missing here.
Hard to see. He's got Skull. We've got, is that Wolf? Nope. Is that Wolf? I think that might be Wolf. Yeah, is that Wolf we've lost? I think it is Wolf.
Oh, what's that?
Potentially, Wolf's gone, unless I'm very much mistaken, which I usually am. But yes, looks like VSR Wolf there. Look, I can't see any VSR. He is missing. So Wolf is out already, and I'm wondering what has happened there. Has he potentially accidentally pressed the return to Central? We'll hopefully hear of him later on, but that's got to be a blow, whatever's happened there. He did so well in qualifying, and whatever's gone on, that is going to be very, very disappointing. We're looking at Camry down 14th on the grid then, and let's get all the information up, please, Fogarty, if you may. The other one, and you can see the grid there. Gazet, Tinnis, Boy Racer, Jazzman, Raiko, Skull, Jam, Mark, Kevin, Coco, Thomas, Vectro, ESA, and Kama then. Your top 14 on the grid.
No, it's such a shame to lose a couple of races there, mate.
Indeed, let's get the standings off our screen if you can, Fogarty there, and get the other ones on. Thank you very much, and put all the other little bit of information up on our screens as we're getting ready then for the session to begin. And the lights are on, of course. Wait that 5 little seconds, and then we'll be rolling off the grid one by one like Noah's Ark. And Gaza leads them away then here at the second race then. Jazzman may have won the first race, but who's going to win the second race? That's always the crucial thing. 14 of the finest drivers in GT3 on the PS4. And, of course, we're missing 2 of them. That is a massive shame. Of course, Wolf disconnecting from the server or having an issue there. And you've always got to look. Formation lap. And Fogarty, especially as you're a driver, of course, of great skill and determination. But on a formation lap, how do you put your mindset through? What would you be doing on the formation lap normally?
Basically just trying to keep your tyres as warm as possible and your brakes warm. You need to be so prepared for turn 1. Yeah, you just can't have everything. You can't have anything cold at all. I think that's the key. And be prepared, be ready. You know, here's where your main focus kicks in.
It very much does, of course. One small mistake, and we saw it last week, especially with Archil, of course, or it's commonly known as Raiko now, spun on that number one, turn number one, just got on the curb. So the curbs around this circuit are going to be a little less dangerous. They should get away with it down to a number one, but anything can happen. One small mistake, and that is it. Let's go to Gazlen up front of the grid then, as he leads themselves around then, as they go 2 by 2 in just a few seconds time. Now they go 2 by 2 then through the last corner. So, last week, fireworks and explosions. Tomorrow being Halloween, are we going to be trick-or-treating in the night, or are we going to have a different winner then? Jazzman won last week, but the question is, who is going to win in the second part of the US series at the beginning of the season? And we are underway then. It's a few seconds and we're underway then. Good start from Gaza. Good, bad start there from Tin. It's a bit of a slow start there. What's that for By Racer down the inside? Curbs and cones getting kicked up at the inside there as they go down to turn number one. But crucially, By Racer up the inside. Everyone looks like they've got clean through turn one in the foreground. Yes, they have. In the background, they have. So everyone's made a good start. But Gaza leads. By Racer in P2. Tinnis in P3. Ahead of Scold in P4. But the top three. Oh, we got car off there. Someone's up in the background. Got issues down there. And there's huge drama. What is going on there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. They're all in trouble. Look at the gap there. And what has happened down the back?
There's an Audi involved there. Ooh.
Audi, the Ferrari. We've got
down to 10. Oh,
Vetro, Scold involved. We've got issues there at the start of the race. We just miss it there. But look at the guys there. So something has happened down the back indeed. So Jazzman there down in P number no, Jazzman in P10. I think he was the one. He had an accident at the beginning of the race. Look, the top three are massively far ahead. So something has happened at the beginning of this race. They've all got damage or something's gone on there. I don't know what has happened.
Turn 2 it all happened, I think, on the exiter there. You only need to take a little bit too much curb there, and you know,
cars coming in.
Stuck. I think that's what's happened there.
Yeah, so who's that in the pit then? Camo, Mark, Jazzman. They're all coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like a hurry here. Look at them all coming in, and one of them's missed their pit box, I think. Slightly they have. Look, one's missed their pit box, reversing the pit lane. And that there, I think they'll get away with. Is that who's that? Who's missed their pit box? They can't find it. I think they've got it now, but someone's missed it there. I don't know. Is that Jazzman? What has happened to Jazzman? He's got an issue. Jazzman's in trouble here in Laguna Seca. He hasn't got his pit box.
No.
Something's gone wrong there, and Jazzman will cut to him here. Has he got his pit box? Is there something wrong there? Can we cut to Jazzman if we may? Has he got in the stops? He's stopped there, but is he getting served? I'm wondering. Now he is, but what has happened there?
I have no idea. He must have missed his pit box. There's no other explanation for it.
But what drama here? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars, and the top 4, 5 guys are miles ahead of the rest of the field already. And that is absolutely incredible. On that number 3 of 44 then, and mass drama at the beginning of this race, as coming together of 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. It must have been Jazzman and Lewis coming together, we believe. But that has got to be bitter disappointment for them. It's a long race, remember, and they'll now go to the end of this race. But you got to wonder for Jazzman, that is going to put a big damper on, and we will definitely have a new winner this race.
Long way to go. These guys are going to be pretty unstoppable now. It's going to be very hard to make the gap up.
Yeah, very much has so then. So, up
Just
front.
Really a minute behind the leaders at the moment, so impossible task.
Indeed, well, Gaza just ahead of By Racer in P number 2 then. Tennis ahead of Jam. Vector in P5. Good start for him again. Kept himself out of trouble in the opening stages of this race. Behind him there is Coco. And then comes Kevin Meyer. So, good start for him. He's under pressure. That's to Thomas and Scold. Scold, I think, didn't get away with damage. You can see there on the front of, no, that's Scold there. So that was Vetro, actually, I was looking at that. Was that Jam? Was that a lap car? That's a bit weird, that. So that is the, ooh, that's interesting. So, Vetro, that's lap traffic then, is that not? Or was that a bit of telemetry issues? I'm very much mistaken. That's Scold. So, Vetro there in P5, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on there. So is that, yeah, that's lap cars or something going on there. A bit of confusing. I think I've got confused with another driver. I'm not too certain what's going on there, but a bit of lag just there.
He's picked up a penalty as well.